if you're watching this instead of the Super Bowl, it's not by chance. Guys, I think the Super Bowl is one of the most interesting events of the year. It happens every year. And the evolution of it is pretty interesting, right? I remember growing up when I was a kid, watching the Super Bowl on TV at home, going over to a friend's house after church, going to a church even and watching it on the projector. And I remember how fun it was to get together, to just have, food and fellowship and hang out. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I think it's funny how most people who watch, well, maybe not most, but a lot of people who watch the Super Bowl don't even care about the sport, or they really don't even care about the teams, right? You're always going to have your diehard football fans. You're always going to have that. But most people watch the Super Bowl for what? The commercials, right? And I think this is a really funny phenomenon that happens every year. The Super Bowl is probably the most marketed event, right? When you watch the Super Bowl, there are unique advertisements. People pay millions of dollars to get their advertisement, their commercial in the Super Bowl because they know people are going to watch. The halftime shows, right? Some of the most controversial events ever performed. And guys, I think this is a good time to step back and think, right? I'm not here to condemn the Super Bowl or sports. Personally, I've never been much of a sports guy. I like playing them, just never found the passion to keep up with other, people's lives and how they're doing when it comes to sports, right? My mentality is good for them, great for them, that's awesome. I'm glad their family and friends love it, but that's not me. That's not my life. I'm not getting paid millions to run around and train and do all this stuff. And I think it's funny how as men, especially, I'm just going to put this little sidebar in here. And I've told my male friends this and they think I'm crazy, whatever. But I think it's funny how you can spend so much of your time and energy looking into another man's life and studying his life. And this isn't just one person, right? It's not like you choose your favorite player. Most people have a favorite team. They're always looking at who's going to get picked, who's going to get drafted, who's going to play here or there. And there are men who know everything in the world about sports, but they really don't have a lot of skills or knowledge in other areas to back it up. And I'm not here to put anybody down. I'm saying that if we were to apply as men the same level of intensity and study and passion towards other things, guys, think of how much more profitable, think of how much more resourceful you could be, right? To your family, to your community, to those around you, to yourself. Again, I just think it's funny how a lot of people, they spend so much time and effort and just to find out, how someone else is doing, right? There's nothing wrong with following your favorite sports team, your favorite player, anything like that. I think it's just a good check because how often do we really apply the same amount of intensity, passion, purpose in other areas of our lives, right? This is a day where a lot of people are going to get together. They're cutting time out of their weekend. They're getting together, prepping food. They're getting drinks. They're going to have fun with friends. Again, nothing wrong with this. But do we do this in other areas of our lives, right? And I've had to think about this myself because this has kind of given me a gut check in a lot of ways. When we have a friend who gets a new job, when we have somebody who succeeds at something in their life, let's say they always wanted to, win this competition or do this event or whatever, do we celebrate them like we celebrate the Super Bowl, right? Again, we get together, we buy things, jerseys, whatever, food, all these things. We celebrate people who are likely never going to know we exist. We're going to see advertisements to buy copious amounts of things that we probably don't need. We're going to be influenced by those advertisements, by the events, right? The halftime show. We're going to be influenced by all these things. But how much more important is it to celebrate one another, right? And I think we've lost this sense, right? We've lost this sense of like a small community in this day and age. Everything has to be big. You got to go big or go home, right? That's the American way. At least that's the way it's been kind of twisted, right? You see, back in the day, this is how the country ran pretty successfully. People thrived in smaller communities. They came together. They lifted each other up. I'm not saying it was always perfect, but I'm saying that people knew each other. They lifted each other up. If somebody fell, they helped them, right? And we've lost that in today's day and age. We think that the only things that matter, we tend to gravitate towards the big events because we live in sort of a hive mind mentality, right? Because of social media, because of how social life has blown up and artificially inflated itself to seem bigger than it really is. And again, I'm not dogging on social media. I think there's a lot of pros to it, but I think that it's, in some ways, it's been abused, right? Obviously, you have companies have come out and said this. People who work at the companies have come out and said they get together with companies who help casinos, figure out how to keep people there longer, how to make things more addicting. They get with video game companies. Guys, you are being marketed to every second of every day. And we're being shown what's important and what's not important. And I just think it's funny how people who don't even care about the two teams that are going to be playing today, who don't care really about maybe even the sport itself, are going to get together to celebrate something that really has no meaning in their life other than they feel obligated to do this thing because other people are doing it. And I just think it's funny how we don't do that more often in our lives. Maybe you do, right? Maybe you do, but I'm looking around, I'm seeing a lot of people who are more secluded than they ever have been before. And maybe that's you, right? I'm seeing people who feel like they can't reach out to people because they think that they're going to be seen as weird, because they might be a little off, right? Because they're not the same as everybody else. Guys, I get that. I totally get that. It's something I struggle with on a daily basis, sometimes a minute by minute basis, right? It'll just change, right? Thoughts will enter my head, ideas and things like that. But I made a video recently, and I think the most important thing we can really remember is we have a decision. You see, the evil powers that be, the ones who sit in high places, they wanted to take our ability to choose away. They want everything automated. They want everything on cruise control, right? They don't want people thinking that they have a choice. They want people in a state of freeze where everything is done for them. They don't have to think, because doing things outside of the norm is dangerous, right? And it invokes the sense of fear because of social rejection, right? If people step out of line, or somebody catches you, doing really anything these days on video, your whole reputation could be ruined. You could lose your job and all these things. So everybody's very paranoid of themselves, and everybody's trying to fit into what everybody else is doing, what the companies, the big companies, the marketers, what they're pushing down your throat, what they're saying is normal, what the world, quote unquote, seems to uphold as normal. Guys, there is so much stuff behind all this. It is insane, right? They've already found that there's thousands, probably millions of bot accounts out there, either mimicking people in real life or just fake accounts, totally fake. And now with AI, now with all this automated stuff, you really have a hard time telling what's real and what's not, who's real and who's not. And one thing I catch myself doing, and I'm trying to get out of this habit, is when I watch content online, is scrolling through the comments. You see, I'm almost more concerned about the comments than I am about the actual content. I'm more concerned, I'm more interested in what people are saying. And I think it's very funny. People have done experiments with this. Depending on if you're male, female, depending on what you watch, what you don't watch, all these things, your comment algorithm is different from the person next to you. So if you're a man, right, it's probably going to market towards you as a man more. So you're going to see a lot more comments that might be geared towards the way you think or against the way you think, depending on what type of content it is, right? Anything to keep you reeled in. Likewise, if you're a woman, you're going to see different comments. And so you have to be careful what you're viewing, why you're viewing it. Again, this all goes back to the Super Bowl, because this is the biggest, probably, television event that we have these days, right? It's been like that for a long time. And like I said, many people are going to watch it because of what? The advertisements, because of what is being marketed to you. It's almost like, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but it's almost like when you go to a garage sale, right? You go to a garage sale, you stop and say, you know what? Probably not going to find anything here, but I'm going to stop by. I'm going to see what's up. I'm just going to check in, right? Or a farmer's market, whatever it might be. You're out and about, you stop at a farmer's market. I'm not going to buy anything. I'm just going to look, right? We have that mentality when it comes to life, when it comes to things like the Super Bowl. Oh, I'm not going to buy anything. I'm just going to watch. And we don't realize that sometimes those things can influence us. And I'm not saying don't watch the Super Bowl. I'm just saying be of a sober mind. Realize what it is you are allowing yourself to do. Don't be on a mindless zombie mode in life. Always realize what you're doing, why you're doing it. If you want to watch the Super Bowl because you really enjoy the play, you really enjoy the players, the teams, and you just like football, have at it, man. If you want to have fellowship with your friends and family, have at it. Do your thing. But really realize what's going on. Again, I just think it's funny how people will, follow teams throughout the year, and they'll spend all this time, and people will make bets, and people will do all this stuff. And I get it. I'm probably sounding like, a Debbie Downer right now. I'm probably sounding like I'm trying to not have fun, but that's not the point, guys. I think this is just a good time to really think about what it is that we're doing, and then how we could apply it to other things in life. Because we're celebrating something that really has nothing to do with us, right? It's an event. It's an event. And so it's something to think about. If you're out and about, with your friend, they let you know some good news, maybe plan something for them, right? That weekend, the next weekend, maybe have a little party, a little, congratulations. What's wrong with that? In fact, that's going to strengthen your friendships and relationships even more. It's not what posts can you get on Instagram, or not what, events can you go to that everybody else is going to, so that, you get the most likes and so people think you're cool. Guys, if you want a real, genuine connection, find people who are genuine. Find people who are just living their life, who don't care about the everyday stuff, right? And everyone's going to have their own thing, okay? Everyone's going to have their own thing. I'm not saying you can't talk to people who like sports, right? Okay? I'm not saying that. What I'm saying, find people who enjoy the little things in life too, man. Who like getting to know other people. It's funny, when I was at my jobs in the past, right? I think this is one of the funniest things, being in the military again, is a lot of people have pretty interesting conversations, right? They're usually outside of the box. When I was working, like in the corporate world and things like that, people would have the exact same conversations about things. It was almost like clockwork. Monday, people would have a conversation about this. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It was just like clockwork. Monday comes around, how was your weekend? Oh, blah, 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 blah. Oh, blah, blah, blah. It was like, okay, cool. But then there reaches a point where there's more to life, guys, than just staying on this clock, on this cycle. And I think some people, they find comfort in that. They find comfort in the mind-numbing, kind of thinkless, just do what you're told, do what you got to do to get by, and they enjoy it, right? And again, if that's the way you want to live, man, that's the way you want to live. At least be aware of it. But I think a lot of people are in a freeze state of mind. A lot of people don't even know why they're doing it. A lot of people don't ever sit back and go, am I just doing this because everybody else is doing this? Do I really enjoy what I'm doing? Do I really want to be a part of this? Or am I just doing it so I don't feel like an outcast? Because, guys, there's something about finding a group of people that stick by you, no matter what, that supersedes any big party, any big event that you can get together where people are just kind of, together because of the alcohol or because of the event, so they can kind of laugh at the same things and, you know, just make some surface level talk. There's something about finding people that you're in tune with. And when we do that, we sort of establish a chain connection, right? We find that one person, and then that person knows these people because they're that type of person. And then all of a sudden we have a network of people that we enjoy being around, right? Sometimes that means putting yourself out there, being uncomfortable, sometimes breaking away from bad old habits, old ways of thinking that are holding you back. So just something to think about, guys. You know, enjoy the Super Bowl. If you have a party for it, if you have a plan, if you watched it, you know, if you're watching this after it's over, if you're watching this before it started, man, have fun, have a good time. But again, just wanted to give you a video because I think most people, I catch myself doing this, sometimes just mindlessly do things. So just something to think about. If you guys want to add anything to this, if you want to put something in, any disagreements, any experiences that you have, let me know. But I'll see y'all in the next one.